Yeah, mental health is kind of like a forgotten chapter of growth that people won't usually talk about. For some reason, it's become a taboo topic, and it shouldn't be because it's one of the most important things that'll help anybody in their growth, mentally, spiritually, physically, and also just really clarify the direction that you want to go in your life. I know when I was growing up, I was one of those people that didn't talk about it. I thought that it was a weakness, and it's totally not that. It takes strength to talk about it, and you have a lot of growth that comes from it. So I just want to share some of my experience with it and pass that along and hopefully speak a message to somebody in the audience today.
My name is Jen Mueller, and I'm so excited to join this conversation today. Now, I bet all of you watching out there have favorite football players. I work for the Seattle Seahawks on their radio broadcast. I have lots of favorite players inside that locker room. And when we watch our favorite players, what we see is how fast they run and how hard they hit and the amazing highlight plays that they put together. What we don't see is the mental side of the game, that mental wellness, the mental resiliency. I know that I will never be as strong, as fast as the guests that are joining us today, but we can all apply some of the same techniques that they use to deal with anxiety, depression, and just being better with mental wellness and resiliency. First of all, Justin Reid. He is a safety for the Houston Texans and a former standout at Stanford University. Having been named All-Pac-12 in 2017, he was a third-round pick for the Texans in 2018. Justin, give us a wave.
How's it going, everybody? Happy to be here and share my thoughts and speak to all of you today.
Marcus Smith is going to help us out. He is a former NFL linebacker. He spent 3 years with the Eagles, a year with the Washington football team, and some time with the Seattle Seahawks, where we actually talked because he played a key role in a big game when Cliff Averill got hurt. Marcus was a first-round selection of the Eagles in 2014. Marcus, thanks for joining us.
Hey, how you guys doing? I can't wait to be able to instill in some of the things that I've learned along the way. So I'm excited to do that.
Why is it important that athletes have the mental resiliency and the mental wellness to deal with everything that happens in their lives?
Yeah, we live in a high stress environment. I mean, a lot of us, especially athletes, part of our identity is our sport, how we perform on any given day, what day of the week that is for you. For us, it's Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays. But my feelings for the whole week would be affected by how I performed in last week's game because I just cared that much about it. And sometimes that'll be great. You know what I mean? You have a great game, you win, you're feeling on top of the world. And other days you might have a bad game and you're feeling really down on yourself. But the key is to find balance in between both. You know what I mean? When you win, don't let that spike your emotions too high, but still being grounded. But also when you lose, don't let it take you down too low.
You really encountered a time of depression and anxiety. What was the moment that you had to ask for help? Whether it was because you were in a funk and you couldn't get out of it, or it was something football related that you just had to reach out and finally say, man, I can't on my own.
Well, honestly, my breaking point was I was actually about to commit suicide within myself. I was actually about to do it. And the funny thing is my wife called me that day. And then I was trying to rush her off the phone. And then her mother-in-law called me and they literally stopped me from doing what I was going to do. And then I was at a point where I really needed to go get the help and the therapy that I needed because I wanted to change. I wanted something different in that regards. And so once I started to go to therapy and really see that I could really find out who the true Marcus Smith was and pass all of the anxiety, pass all of me being a first round draft pick and everything that Justin has said about us dealing with the ins and outs of the game. And, I was able to see who I really was. And I actually got better from it. And it was definitely a long period of growth from that.
Justin, I want you to give us a technique that you use in football, and if you just get into a funk at home, to kind of help settle you down a little bit and get back in a good mental state.
Yeah, I'll run by two real quick. One of the first things is time away from whatever it is that you're doing. So let's say it's your sport. I think there's a lot of value. And if you get your mind off of it, maybe pick up another hobby for a little bit, just do something else, give it some time to breathe, and then you come back around to it. And then secondly, and I actually learned this from a therapist that I had talked to, was I created what's called an energy pie. And an energy pie is not necessarily how much time you spend on something, it's how much energy you put into it, right? So I segmented out how much energy I wanted to dedicate my life to each phase of my life. So I put, obviously, football is a major part of my life. I put about 45% my energy pie is going into football. And I put like another 20% of that is going into family. I put 10% going into social media and web surfing. I put like another 15% going into a hobby that's not sports related, something healthy in case I needed that outlet. I don't really know how much that added up to just now, but
I'm not doing it on this.
Yeah,
I'm not doing that.
Add that up to 100%, and you just hold yourself to that. And then, like I said, it's not necessarily how much time you spend on it, but it's how much energy that you put into that. And when I was able to it helped me manage my emotions better whenever I did that. I didn't get overwhelmed with any particular thing because I had a set amount of energy that I was going to allow myself to put towards it.
I think for me, one of the strategies that I use is positive self-talk. I learned this from my therapist as well, because a lot of the times when we're like going away from what we're doing and we're getting a lot of stress and anxiety, negative thoughts are flowing through our head a lot of the times. And being able to come back and just tell yourself, hey, I'm okay. This is going to be fine. I'm going to do this. Like things like that. Just continue to talk to yourself, feed yourself positivity. And then as you keep going out the course of your day, you'll start to see a light and feel like, oh, okay, I'm okay. And then another thing was that I actually learned was actually journaling. Journaling is something that when you have a lot of your thoughts in your head, you can put these thoughts down on paper, whatever you're thinking. If it's in that moment, if you got so many things going on, if you're working, if you're in school, or if you are in a sport, whatever you're doing, you can try to put it down on paper and just see what comes out of it. And the last thing I want to say is reading too, as well. You could actually read something that you enjoy and something that you can get a kick out of, something that will relax you and make you happy.
Everybody is going through something. Even myself, when I was growing up, I was just really good at hiding it. But going through my whole childhood, I was always going through something too. And the moment that I was actually had the strength to actually reach out and ask for help and realize that, hey, I need to talk to somebody about this, was a defining moment in my life. Also, remember to just be respectful of that with everybody around you and your peers of what they might be going through too.
We all are going through something, and hiding it is what we're kind of like taught to do without being taught. We just do it because we want to that's what it says to us to push through. But, really pushing through is really, being vulnerable in that state and really speaking up and saying that you have a certain issue, that's okay. And that's really going to help you continue your walk and your journey in life. And so you got to know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel and everything is going to be fine.